Hi, I'm Teasi Cannon, and my new book is titled My Big Bottom Blessing: How Hating My Body Led to Loving My Life. And I wrote this book, first of all, as a thank you to God, because He's been so good to me. And He's healed me, He's forgiven me, just His mercy was amazing, and I didn't want to forget any of it. I also wrote it because it's kind of a miracle story. Even though I haven't been to heaven and back, I feel like I have seen the light. I spent so many years of my life feeling like I couldn't really start living until I lost the last 10 pounds or got rid of unsightly crow's feet, and I realized that's just not true. Media plays a huge role in how women of all ages see themselves. We've got the movies, we have television, billboards, the internet, and they're all sending this not so subtle message that really you're nothing if you're not thin and beautiful. This unrealistic message that we receive from the media leads to all kinds of emotional issues. It can lead to depression, obviously low self-esteem, but it can lead to really unhealthy eating patterns and just living patterns in general. You know, for me, my issue was always my weight and primarily the size of my rear end, but I know that there are many thin women who have just as many issues as I had. Maybe it's the thinness of their hair or the size of their nose, and ridiculous as it may seem to us, that becomes such a source of pain. It becomes a focus, and we as women will find ourselves desperate to change how we look, when what we really need to be desperate for is to change how we see. Because when we change how we see, we'll not only see God differently, we'll see each other differently, and most miraculously of all, we'll see ourselves differently, and then we can get out there and be the women we were meant to be. I became painfully aware of my larger size at a very young age, probably first grade. I had good friends all my life that were, I call them skinny chicks because they were just little and I totally loved them, but I used to sit next to them and I would do everything like compare the width of my thigh next to theirs, or when our jeans were thrown on the ground, I couldn't help but notice that mine were bigger. And so everywhere I turned, I became aware of it, and even other kids are just cruel. They want to point out every flaw. And that happened when I was really young. This book is not a diet book in disguise. This is not about any physical transformation. This book is about spiritual transformation, the kind of transformation that really changes everything. I think women who have engaged in any type of negative self-talk or find themselves in repeated unhealthy life cycles and thought cycles would benefit from reading this book, but also women who work with those type of women, or women who have friends like that, counselors, leaders of women's groups, and even moms of daughters. I hope that somewhere in the pages of my story, by way of what my friends have deemed my brave transparency, other women will find themselves. I hope that women will join me in making a switch. Instead of worrying about the size of our legs, let's start worrying about the size of our legacy. And instead of believing the lies of this world, we could start changing the world with our lives. Because I believe that's what we were created for, and I believe that we can do it together.